The project on strengthening the role of local IBA caretaker groups in Biodiversity Hotspots of Armenia, supported by the GEF Small Grants Program, it is currently under implementation and will be completed in January 2011. The biodiversity importance of the Caucasus has been recognized by the world's leading conservation foundations. It was recognized as one of the global hotspots based on distribution of globally threatened and endemic species, as well as sites where these species are found. In Armenia, a total of 18 important bird areas have been identified by BirdLife International and are sites important not only for birds, but for other components of biodiversity as well. 7 out of 18 IBAs in Armenia supporting populations of globally threatened bird species such as Caucasian grouse, Egyptian vulture, corncrake, Dalmatian pelican, lesser kestrel, and species listed in the National Red Data Book have local caretakers based at each site. To achieve a better conservation for these sites of global significance, ASPB has been working to create a coordinated network of caretakers, which are local community leaders who live at key biodiversity sites and are committed to conservation of globally threatened bird species. The way of conserving biodiversity with the hands of these local caretaker groups is one of the most practical and acceptable ways in the Armenian society. They monitor species, the threats, advocate for protection, and, which is more important, supply scientific data for the global database of IUCN's Red List of Threatened Species. The SGP-funded project started in September 2009, aimed at increasing the capacity of these local community leaders. In the frames of the project, a specific training on monitoring of endangered species was held for local IBA caretaker groups and the relevant staff of protected areas. The meeting was moderated by an invited guest speaker in the field of biodiversity, who introduced the advanced species monitoring techniques as well as methodologies which were developed for the Caucasus countries using the computer softwares. This monitoring scheme was proposed for adoption by the Lake Sevan National Park for their internal management and planning. One of the key components of the project was the education session in schools in biodiversity hotspots, which was delivered through a variety of ways. Interesting thematic presentations on endangered species, the contents to identify the best thematic presentation, and staged performances, involving local school children in multiple nature conservation initiatives such as the National Bird of the Year campaign, festivals, the Euro Birdwatch excursions, all aimed at building a strong local voice on nature protection issues. The aim of school visits and meetings with community leaders was to raise their estimation about the rare and endangered species and increase their understanding about the importance of the area they live in for these species, as well as to alert their attention to existing disturbances. As part of the education component, a Bird of the Year campaign has been organized in frames of the project. Common crane has been officially recognized as Bird of 2010 in Armenia and was selected through public voting. The celebration of this critically endangered species was further launched and timed to mark the International Day of Biodiversity with the Common Crane Festival. The festival united 10 different communities of Shirak province and was turned into an attractive show. It stood to the reason that children of the Armenian north are the most deprived and have a more direct contact with cranes and their environment, which makes their role in conserving them extremely important. Among the key outcomes of the project is to provide local communities with alternative income source to reduce the pressure on local biodiversity. The Sept important bird area, which is located in the north of Armenia, is proposed for promoting such an activity. It is one of the internationally important sites and is the priority corridor for the Caucasus hotspot. This area enjoys rich biodiversity, beautiful landscapes and cultural heritage. It is an IBA of global significance which attracts birdwatching tourists from Armenia and abroad. In 2010, the SGP program supported provision of a space to establish the Environmental Visitors Center in the Sept. The center will aim to provide benefits from community-based tourism, such as birdwatching, bed and breakfast, and will serve as a platform for NGOs, scientists, tourists, and many others to promote communication between them. It will serve to provide visitors with information on local biodiversity resources and simply act as a hub for educating the young generation. Starting from January 2010, the SGP-funded project has been fundraised for successfully. To further support this unique initiative, WWF Armenia and the Rhone-Alps Regional Council in France have expressed an interest and have provided an additional funding for developing ecotourism in the Sept community. Multiple stakeholder meetings were organized with the community head of the Sept to establish a joint ownership of the center with the local community. As of October 2010, the construction of the facility is started and it is expected to be completed by the end of November 2010.